Eric Chilton, Lauren Coleman here at the table, and Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley here to fill us in on the weather.
Yeah, lots to talk about today. You know, we had that recent ruling from the Supreme Court on Division I athletes, and we also are talking about a local organization that's addressing childhood hunger.
All kinds of things for you, but we have to start somewhere else, don't we?
Where should we start?
I think this guy has a lot to say today. Hi, Tim.
Hey there, guys. Hey, we've been watching the radar throughout the afternoon for you, and it really started this morning, didn't it? But I just wanted to give you an update here. Everything is good to go. You don't need to worry about severe thunderstorms or anything any longer. That threat has really long since passed us. We talked about yesterday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that kind of turned out really well. Looking at 75 degrees over High Point right now, even some blue skies starting to kind of grace us right now. A little bit of sunshine could be breaking out over the next few hours. Take a look at the radar. Still some scattered rain and storms to the south. So if you live in the Greensboro, Winston-Salem, High Point area, you're done. But farther to the south we go, maybe southern Randolph and Montgomery counties still dealing with some heavy showers and downpours. Same story for Moore and Chatham counties at this time. Wanted to show you just a couple of select rainfall estimates based on our radar. So far, well, some places really lucked out with about an inch or two of rainfall. Others, maybe not so much. There are always those that get a lot and always those that get a little in the summertime season. Temperatures were cool much of the day, been very muggy. Now we're flip-flopping that. The mugginess is going away and the temperatures are starting to warm back up. Winston-Salem now at 77 as we start to get drier and more sunny. That lower humidity, it's trying, folks. It's arriving as we speak. You should notice a difference when you're stepping outside. The cold fronts move through, and with that wind out of the north, we get the change. Take a look at tonight. We're able to cool it way down for you, down into the low 60s. And look at tomorrow. It's just a perfect day of weather, partly sunny with a high of 78. Hope you can enjoy it.
Our top story this afternoon, soon more mass vaccination sites will close in the Triad starting on Thursday and over the next few weeks. Cone Health will close 3 sites, shifting their focus to other places to get a shot.
We're also looking at setting up a location in each county. So we have our mobile team that's always been going out to like churches and community centers and businesses, and we're going to continue to do that. But we're looking at setting up a permanent kind of, we call it a fixed mobile location. So every week there would be like one day in Guilford County where we know that you can get a vaccine at this site.
David Thompson is the assistant director at Cone's Regional Center of Infectious Disease, and he says fewer people are coming to get COVID vaccines at their big sites, down almost 95% from when they opened.
The beginning in the first few months, we were doing close to 2,000 people a day at the Greensboro Coliseum. Now first doses, sometimes it's 100, total doses first and second. Sometimes we're only seeing like 200 to 300 people a day. So now we're focused on like, well, let's go to where people live and work. And that's why we have that mobile effort going out, because it just doesn't make sense to keep that huge center open to only do 200 some people a day.
So the first site to close is Zion Baptist Church in Greensville. Their last day is actually this week, June 24th. The Greensboro Coliseum and Burlington Manufacturers Outlet Center will close on July 31st. People who need a second dose after these sites close will be referred to local health departments and retail locations.
And changes to vaccine clinics are closing as most of our counties continue to improve. Now, this is the latest map from the county alert system, and the colors show how the county is doing. So taking a look here at the Triad, you can see counties are mostly light or a dark yellow. The green is the best and orange is the worst. Allegheny and Davie are the only local counties in the green. Just 9 counties total are doing that well. So on the flip side, Stokes is the only local county in orange. It's just one of 6 counties statewide that are all that level of community spread. And as the numbers continue to improve, Alamance County is changing its COVID policies for courthouses. If you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a face mask. Someone who is not fully vaccinated is encouraged to wear their face mask when they're inside a courthouse or in close contact with other people. Now remember, people are fully vaccinated 2 weeks after getting either both doses of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks after the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Social distancing will continue unless you're with family or a lawyer.
Your chance to win $1 million is coming up. A lot of people excited about this one. Tomorrow is the first vaccine lottery drawing. Drawings will take place once a week from now until August 4th. Anyone who has gotten a dose of the vaccine is automatically entered for a chance to win. If someone got their first dose after June 10th up until the final drawing date, they're going to be entered twice. Adults get their shot at $1 million. Kids who get vaccinated get a chance to win scholarship money. Winners will be contacted by NCDHHS, a representative from the health department, or you might get an email. Winners have 48 hours to claim their prize. Only people who gave their phone number or their email address are eligible to win. When you get your vaccine, you should have given your provider a phone number or an email. But if you want to be sure that your email is registered, we have all that information on our website.
And as more people get vaccinated, they're feeling comfortable traveling. And states like California have lifted all of their COVID restrictions, and other states like Texas have signed anti-mask mandate laws. But there is a federal transit mask mandate which requires us to wear masks on flights or in train stations. Let's verify to see who you listen to, the state or the federal government.
A keystone in U.S. politics since the very beginning has been the battle between state and federal control. So when states like Texas and Florida signed laws banning mask mandates, plane and train riders were left wondering, where do the federal mask mandates on transit start and end? So let's verify. When it comes to conflicting state and federal mask mandates, which do you follow? Our sources are law professor Mark Graber and Walter Olson from the Cato Institute. And they both say that when interstate travel is involved, like on a plane or a train, it's federal regulations that are going to take the top billing.
The Supreme Court has usually ruled that if the federal government has taken over regulation of an area, then it gets to regulate it thoroughly. Now, that's true of many of the transportation areas.
And Graber added via email that regulation extends to channels of interstate travel, meaning things like train stations and airports. So we can verify that federal mask mandates do supersede bans on the state level.
Let's get into some of your headlines with your 4 to 5 roundup. Hope Dealers Outreach in Winston-Salem is calling on the Winston-Salem Police Department to fight violence in the city. Hope Dealers Outreach advocates for civil rights and social justice. The group also provides help to families of victims killed in gun violence. After seeing a rise in crimes over just the last few weeks, group members say the issue runs deeper than criminals attacking one another.
You don't have to be in the streets to get killed by a gun. If these kids have nothing to do in this community, we will continue to see murders happen within our community. They have no other choice. I'm saying this to you publicly. They have no other choice but to sell drugs. What jobs do you have for them? They have families too.
Last week, Police Chief Katrina Thompson asked the community for their help in addressing the problem. The department will expand its real-time crime center and partner with businesses and residents to grant access to surveillance systems and security cameras. And the U.S. background check system helped stop more than 300,000 people from buying a gun last year. This is according to records from the group Every Town for Gun Safety. The FBI numbers show background checks blocked twice as many gun sales in 2020 as the year before. 42% of those people denied had felony convictions on their records, and the increase in blocked gun sales largely comes as the nation sees record-setting sales for the guns during the pandemic. And Rockingham County emergency crews are holding off on their search for missing Teresa Viano because of the rainy forecast that we're having. Viano went missing during a tubing trip with her family when the family went over a Duke Energy dam last week. 4 people died and 4 were rescued. Highway Patrol conducted a helicopter search for Viano yesterday, but called off that search. Duke Energy is adding larger warning signs up and downstream from the dam to warn tubers and the dam to swim at their own risk. Officials say they're taking search efforts day by day. And a new poll shows most voters want photo ID requirements to cast a ballot. The Monmouth University survey found half of voters want to see mail-in voting processes made easier. More than 2/3 of Americans want national guidelines in place for mail-in voting and early voting for federal elections. And the poll was released just before the U.S. Senate votes on a voting rights bill. Senator Chuck Schumer is pushing for the PEOPLE Act, which would create national automatic systems to register voters and establish a national standard for mail-in absentee ballots. Democrats say it's necessary to fight new restrictive voting laws passed in Republican-controlled states, while the Republicans are opposed to federal legislation. More than 1 in 4 children in North Carolina struggle with hunger, and a Triad nonprofit is working to address child hunger with an interactive virtual food education series, where youth and their parents, they'll learn about healthy eating, how to grow their own food, and make affordable meals. But organizers tell me they need the help of the community to get this project off the ground.
Nutrition, sustainability, and community. Just some of the key principles of the Kids Cafe in Greensboro.
So children need to know where their food comes from, and that's also a way that we can reduce hunger and poverty rates, because it enables them and empowers them in order to learn how to do it themselves.
Denise Payne founded the program in 2015, partnering with local schools and offering hands-on gardening and meal preparation learning activities for kids.
Because a lot of times in school, they don't learn the basic skills of how to grow, how to eat, to live. There's very little emphasis put on nutrition and nutritional education in the school systems.
Due to the coronavirus pandemic, in-person activities were put on hold. Now the organization is working to launch a series of free online educational modules for youth, where youth and their parents will learn about healthy eating and how to make their own meals. Nutritionists and chefs like Shonda Keynes of EBN's Vegan Cuisine in Charlotte will be featured in the 10-part series.
Due to the pandemic, it's given us a great opportunity to reach more people than just in our immediate community, whether we host the event here in Charlotte or if we hold one in the Triad area.
In order to maintain a facility and equipment to produce the series, the group is working to raise $25,000. Payne says proceeds from the 4th annual Triad Veg Fest will go towards the project.
Because when children are hungry, they're unable to learn. And if they're our future, we have to make sure that we're feeding them intellectually as well as nutritionally.
So the 4th annual Triad Veg Fest is this Saturday at Center City Park in Greensboro. We'll have those details on our website, and Kids Cafe plans to air its virtual series this coming January. So they're really encouraging people to come out to this Triad Veg Fest this weekend so they can get those funds to get this virtual program up and running.
It's funny, two things that I take away from this, and one is the fact that virtual is not going away.
Yeah.
You know, now even after the pandemic, it's going to be an aspect of it. People know you can reach more people. Right. But the other thing is that our children learn how to eat by watching us. So for these people to be able to, you know, like everybody needs to be able to teach your kids, this is how you need to eat, so that it becomes a habit. My kids do not drink soda but once in a while. I grew up drinking soda. My wife teaches a good lesson.
So do as I say, not as I do.
That's exactly
on
right.
that front. No, but I mean, North Carolina has so many great farmers, and we produce so many delicious crops, especially vegetables. So I'm glad to see that that is being highlighted right here in our own backyard. You got to teach kids young. I remember learning about what was then the food pyramid.
Yes.
Back in like elementary, middle school, to learn how to eat and have a balanced out plate. So
how to eat stuff for yourself. And as she was saying, since it's virtual, they're encouraging the parents to sit on this, because like you said, it starts with the parents.
No, it does. I mean, I had to change, that's what I was saying earlier, I literally had to change my way so we don't keep it at the house. If you don't keep soda there, it's not easy to get. So if I get it, I have to go out and get one. And that's why you see me at the vending machine here at work, so I can sneak one when my wife's not looking.
You'd be like,
y'all know it's a crazy day when Maddie comes in with her McDonald's Diet Coke.
Yeah, that doesn't
It's a rare
happen very
occasion,
often.
but
Yes.
when it does, you know something really bad has happened or something really good.
yeah, Maddie, what's going on?
Right, are you okay? I see you with the Diet Coke.
Telltale sign.
Hey, we all have our things, and our thing is this commercial break next. We'll see you in just a couple minutes. Welcome back. You know, the UNC School of the Arts has been a jewel in the crown of our state for decades. It's known all across the country as one of the best drama schools in the U.S., but now it has even bigger bragging rights. I spoke with the Dean of the School of Drama, Scott Ziegler, about their recent honor. Well, I got to say, Scott, this is huge news. I mean, this isn't just a national ranking, this is a global ranking. How did this come about? Tell me about this.
The Hollywood Reporter has sort of been the go-to ranking for the last, 10 or 15 years maybe. Way back in the day, U.S. News & Report used to rank these programs as part of their big college ranking process. but Hollywood Reporter has taken it over for drama programs specifically over the last, I don't know, 15 years or so. So they do it every year. Last year they had a 6th, I think, and 3rd among domestic undergrad programs. So we're just really excited to continue to be included in the ranking and to be on the list with so many other outstanding programs.
I'm sure you guys were over the moon when you heard this. Tell me, why do you think this is? I mean, all of us in our state know how good the School of the Arts is, but what do you guys do that makes you have this ranking globally?
I think some of the things that have put us on the map a little bit more nationally and internationally is we've really made a point of making sure that our on-camera training our students to be ready to work in film and television, became an equal part of the training. And I think as the industry has evolved, it's become important to do that, because going forward, the more and more streaming platforms there are, the more work there is for actors on television and in films being made, both for the studios and for the streaming platforms. Additionally, one of the things that we learned during the pandemic is that almost all auditioning going forward is probably going to start with video auditioning, a little bit like in the format we're in right now, where students or actors will put an audition on video and send that to casting directors. And we think going forward, that's going to be how the first round of casting works.
Well, I think it's fabulous that you guys got this ranking, and all of us in our state, we know how valuable you are. Thank you for your time today. Congratulations. So it was interesting to me after talking with him that he said video auditions, even on national, even with movies, with feature films, video auditions will probably be the first round of auditions always, because they realize, why do we have these brick and mortar studio places for auditions? So he said a lot of the agencies that represent actors are saying, we're getting rid of our buildings, we're selling them, getting out of it, because we can do the first round of auditions virtually.
What's so cool about this, when I think of theater or the arts, I tend to think of New York City or maybe even LA. So it's nice to see we have this phenomenal program right here in our state of North Carolina.
A couple years ago, when I was just starting here at the station, I got the opportunity to go and tour their film school, essentially, where they're making like entire movies, and just sit down and talk to these students, and to see the sets and the props and the costuming and everything that goes into this. It really is incredible. And some of these films go on to festivals and win awards, and I mean, it's great. Some very famous, well-known people in Hollywood have started in Winston-Salem.
When I was in high school, I did a summer program at School of the Arts in acting, and Parker Posey was in our group. So a lot of people have come through that program. It's very cool. All right, we're going to take a short break. It is 4:22. I'm going back to my Good Morning Show days. I do it all the time.
Say anytime.
It's still 4. You need to know that.
Yeah, you do need to know
It's
the
in
time.
the PM. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
When life knocks you down, it may feel impossible to get back up.
Yeah, it certainly packs a punch. You know, sometimes we might feel as if the dream we're striving for is just out of reach. But Coach Lamont is sharing a message today about the importance of living your life to the fullest. It's today's U Day moment.
So here's a question for you. Where's the wealthiest place in the world? Well, I can imagine some of your responses, but to get to the point, the wealthiest place in the world is the place that I'm standing right now, the cemetery. Well, you may ask, Coach, why the cemetery? It's simple. There were books here which were never written. There were dreams never fulfilled, cures to diseases never brought to fruition. And the reason, you ask, is because people did not believe that it was possible for them. Well, maybe right now you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, Coach, is it even possible for me? Let me answer that question. It is. Don't just live your life to exist. Live your life to conquer. The grave has already stolen much from so many people. Don't let the grave steal from you. This is your coach, Coach Lamont, reminding you today is your day to live. Have your best you day. I'll see you tomorrow.
Change of scenery there with Coach
Yes.
Lamont. I mean, really getting that message home with being in that cemetery.
I don't know, what does it make you, when you look at that, some people would say that's kind of morbid, other people would say, no, that makes you reflect on your life. I mean, what do you feel when you look at that? Because to me, it makes me think, maybe I have more to do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, if there's something that you want to do, like you said, write a book or something, do it now.
Right.
Because tomorrow's not promised. We're only here for a little while.
Our time is certainly not up, and you really get, most people believe, one life here on earth to live, and so get everything you want into that. I mean, absolutely, there is nothing that can knock you down to the point where you can't get back up and keep going.
And one thing I do like to do, and I saw him walking through there, sometimes I like to read the tombstones, and especially if you go to those old cemeteries that go back hundreds of years, it's fascinating what they put on that. To me, that's, a lot of people do those etchings, you know.
Okay.
I don't do that, but I do read it and kind of take note, because everybody, that's a soul, you know. It's kind
It's
of
a life.
Great
It's
place
inspiring.
for reflection.
It sure is. It's very true.
right.
All right, take a break, and we're coming back. Stay right there.
One, two, mic check. Oh, yep, sure. Mic check, 1, 2, mic check. HPU STEM campus keeping kids busy. Mic check. 1, 2, mic check.
And an Oreo cookie, they forever go together. Yep.
Mic check, Jalen. Mic check, Jalen. Okay, do you want me to turn the camera one back to touch?
Well, welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Lauren Coleman. We got Eric Chilton, Maddie Gardner, and Jalen Gilkey. We're all here today.
We are all here, and a lot of people are joining us on Facebook this afternoon. If you haven't yet, head on over to WFMY News 2's page. We live stream the entire 4 to 5 there.
Chatting away as we speak.
Yep, come join us. We got lots to talk about today. One of our top stories, school districts in Piedmont are hiring for multiple positions. This is happening. There are over 1,000 vacancies across 18 districts in the Piedmont region. The districts hosted a virtual information session today for anyone interested in a career in public education. Positions such as transportation, school nutrition, custodial services, and teacher assistant positions are just some of the positions available. Some of the schools offering positions include Guilford County Schools, Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools, and Alamance Burlington Schools. That's just to name a few.
A lot of times people think, well, I don't have a degree, or I don't have this, or I don't have that, so I'm probably not eligible. When in truth, if you want to work for us, we probably can find a place to fit you in somewhere.
Well, if you missed today's event, there will be another one tomorrow. That is starting at noon. We'll have the link to this information all on our website.
And if you get a job in any of those positions with Guilford County Schools, you could start making $15 an hour next year. Guilford County Schools is raising its minimum wage for educators thanks to a budget increase approved by county commissioners. Commissioners approved a $16 million increase in local funding. Nearly $230 million will go to the school district. $8 million of that will go toward increasing salaries. The pay raises aren't supposed to cost taxpayers a dime. The budget was approved without raising property taxes.
Let's jump into your 4 to 5 roundup. Major airlines, they are struggling to meet demand as more Americans resume flying as COVID restrictions ease. American Airlines announced it will cancel nearly 1,000 flights through mid-July because of a variety of problems, which include pilot shortages. Operations were disrupted for 9 days this month because of an outage. 50 to 80 flights will be canceled each day through July as the airline tries to solidify a flight schedule. But help is on the way for airlines. The Federal Aviation Administration announced it will receive $8 billion in grants to help hundreds of U.S. airports keep staff, continue construction, and recover from the hit the industry took during the pandemic. The money comes from the American Rescue Plan. And PTI Airport will receive some of that money, but officials say they aren't sure how much.
All right, our forecast today, we're watching cooler temperatures coming in, not only today, but especially tomorrow, actually, because we'll have lower humidity, so it will feel even cooler than the upper 70s that we're calling for tomorrow. That is way out of line for this time of the year, much cooler. You can see the sky cams behind me here, those showing some breaks in the clouds finally as we take a look. Oh, really, Winston-Salem and points to the west are seeing more in the way of the clearer skies than anybody else. Tonight, you can expect that overnight low of 59 degrees, then we'll go 78 for tomorrow. The rain is pretty much leaving us as we speak. Only the southern Piedmont sees a couple of showers left over, and that's closer to, say, Troy and then over toward Chatham County as well. Look for Siler City with a little bit of rain also. Heading into the next 24 hours, big changes as we mentioned. Highs tomorrow only in the upper 70s. It's about 10 degrees below normal for this time of the year. Lots of sunshine and lower humidities. We'll have the 7-day coming up.
All right, Keto, Atkins, Weight Watchers, Noom, Whole30, Paleo. These are just a few of the diets that are out there, people, right? Anyone here try any of those ever at any time?
Yeah, I've tried almost all of them.
Okay,
Keto.
what are some of your least and favorite things about them?
They're so restrictive, like keto, you can't eat the bread.
Right.
I love bread, I like carbs.
Yeah.
It was a struggle.
I did keto, it worked, lost 24 pounds in 3 months, but then I was dying for a biscuit every day.
Right. I remember you coming in and saying I only had like 11 grams of carbs yesterday and I have zero energy right now.
Which is awful.
Too low, by the way, yes.
Awful. Okay, so I think we all spend a lot of time when we have a diet focused on what we can't eat.
Yes.
Is that agreed? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's a different kind of diet. You ready? It's not what you eat, it's when you eat. Okay?
I heard this one.
So I know a lot of folks out there have done intermittent fasting. Let's take a look at it.
I start my day eating at 12 p.m. just right after my workout. I end up like around 8 or 9 p.m. at night. Have lost 20 pounds during that progress.
So did you catch the times that works for her? She only eats during an 8-hour period from noon until 8. Some intermittent fasters only eat every other day. Okay. Studies suggest that an intermittent fasting may have benefit like improvements in your blood sugar levels, your cholesterol levels, blood pressure, and your weight. Fasting has been shown to lower the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even some cancers. Okay, I have to tell you, I get hangry when I do not eat, so I do not think that this fasting is for me, which is why I went to look for Consumer Reports and their other recommendations. So if you gravitate towards sweets and dessert, Consumer Reports suggests having them before 3 p.m. Your body is more efficient at processing carbs during the morning and the early afternoon. Here's another thing you can do. Have an early dinner. And when I talk about having an early dinner, I'm talking between 6 and 8 p.m.
Late night eating has been linked to a higher risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease.
Slim down your dinners to around 600 calories. Include more veggies, which are lower in calories, and the fiber will help you feel fuller for longer. And when it comes to other meals,
Be sure to include foods that have plenty of fiber and protein, such as fruit, oatmeal, cottage cheese, and eggs. Foods like these will help you stay satisfied until your next meal.
So onions, they are considered a vegetable, but they may not meet the healthy standard when they're fried. So today is National Onion Ring Day, and we're celebrating here. So not on the set though, but
Sadly.
Brian Bennett is here to talk with us about what some people are saying about onion rings.
Yeah, I mean, apparently everybody loves onion rings, right? What
They're
about you
good.
guys?
I love them.
Not me.
Really?
I can eat them. I don't love them. I'd rather have fries over onion rings. But that's
Gotcha.
just
Well,
me.
let's see what our commenters had to say about the National Day. We're going to kick it off with Misty, who says she thinks that the Dixie Express in Asheboro has the best onion rings in town. Of course, this is the question that we posed online earlier today. Dawson Kernersville has great onion rings, says Sarah. And moving right along, we're going to go to Glenda, who says, is that Cinnabelle's? In High Point, I've never been there. I've heard great things, though. I never know if I'm pronouncing it right. But anyway, Dario has fantastic ones, Amy says. And Pat says Long Star Burger. Bonnie says
yes.
Red Robin. I've never
Theirs are good.
stepped foot in a Red Robin, to be honest. Catherine says TJ's Deli in Winston-Salem. And lastly, Debbie says J&G Barbecue has the best onion rings, but no longer here. I remember, going to a restaurant with my parents, like when I was really, really young, and I was like, yeah, I want the onion rings. And my parents were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. So I bit into it, and I was like, there's an onion in here. They're like, duh. They told me. Yeah, I thought it was the ones like out the vending machine.
Now, did they make the Funyuns? Did they make you finish?
Those are pretty good.
I'd eat that.
Did they make you finish your onion rings though because you ordered them?
Yeah, because you ordered it.
No, I took it back.
I didn't realize there was an onion in here. I do love onion rings. To be honest, I would prefer French fries, but I'll eat an onion ring if it's in front of me.
I like it when it has that good sauce, like a comeback sauce or something.
Yes,
that
yes,
is
like a
good.
spicy.
Comeback sauce.
See, that makes it
Red
better.
Robin.
Oh,
Red
okay.
Robin, that's right.
Oh, okay.
You gotta have the Red Robin burger now.
Yeah.
Look,
I mean,
just saying.
Lauren, are you gonna take this? Come on, let's go.
You know what? I might treat y'all.
Oh, but let's talk about an onion ring on a burger.
Okay.
Because that's good.
I've never had that.
I haven't either.
I haven't had that.
Listen, the more you can put on a cheeseburger, in my opinion, the better. Just like stack it
I just
up.
like the cheese and the ketchup and the lettuce. I'm basic.
I'm kind of basic when it comes to that too.
Oh no,
Fried
not
egg.
me.
But I do like the
onion
onion rings on the
ring.
side.
Yeah.
Eric and I love the blue cheese, just
Blue
smothered on
cheeseburgers,
anything.
man. That is the best.
What about the chili?
Chili.
Okay,
On a
I
burger?
can do that.
On a
Yeah,
On a
burger?
hot
Yeah.
dog more so for me.
but I've done that on a.
I do
hamburger.
both.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hamburger, hot dog. doesn't
Folks, this is always the time of the day when
I
we start
know.
talking about food and getting you ready for dinner. You're welcome.
what
Have
we
some
do.
onion rings.
We're coming back.
Mic check Jalen. Mic check Jalen.
Kids, they can access everything in the palm of their hand as early as 2 years old, but someone has to build that technology that's sitting in their hands, right? Well, WFMY News 2's Bryant Bennett shows us how High Point University is preparing STEM students for takeoff.
Yes, with school out for the summer, HPU STEM Camp is keeping kids busy after a virtual camp last year. STEM Camp Coordinator Dr. Shirley Disler is excited to have students back in person.
I'm super excited. It is good to be able to interact with the kids and see their social emotional needs again.
Each year the camp has a theme. This year's is Building STEM Leaders for Tomorrow's Workforce. Dr. Shirley Disler with HPU says the theme is crucial for STEM students who may not go after a 4-year college degree.
We need these kids to understand that design thinking and prototyping and building things with your hands is going to reshape their future, because the future that they're going to move into is not the future we live in right now.
Yeah, students learn and build something new every day of the camp. Disler says these activities create great passion.
Today, this girl made a windmill. She was like, it was really flying. She made this windmill and she could have powered the room on it. I mean, it was amazing. She said, it works like the real one. Oh my gosh. And she was jumping around and dancing. She couldn't believe she actually made it herself with her hands.
Now, camp finishes up on Friday with an exciting rocket launch.
Big news coming out of Washington, D.C. this week. The United States Supreme Court unanimously affirmed a ruling that will allow an increase on the education-related benefits that student athletes get from universities. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey spoke with one of our local economics professors about what that could mean for future Triad collegiate athletes.
Well, the debate on amateurism in college sports has been a hot-button topic for at least a decade. Yesterday, the United States Supreme Court unanimously ruled in favor of the universities being able to provide additional educational benefits for their student athletes outside of the full scholarships. I spoke with Wake Forest Associate Professor Todd McFall about what this means for college sports.
Right now, it means that if schools would like to start offering what the court has deemed to be educational services, if they want to offer whatever that means beyond the scholarship, it's perfectly legal to do so. The NCAA has no means to combat that.
So that means schools essentially are now allowed to provide athletes with things like laptops, vehicles, private tutors, and anything else a university deems as an academic aid.
It could mean that a school gets really creative and says, look, our star quarterback needs transportation to and from the campus to the practice facility. So we're going to give him a Corvette for that. Like, we don't know what that means, but in an economic sense, what it means is that now schools can start to compensate players above and beyond what the scholarship cap has been, which has been in place for the last 70 years.
And I want to make this clear, Todd does not speak for the athletic department at Wake Forest, so he says what he says may or may not happen for athletes at the university. He's an economic expert and college sports fan who was able to explain to all of us what yesterday's Supreme Court ruling could mean for your kid and the future of college sports.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a huge ruling. I think everyone's kind of in a wait and see position to see how schools and the NCAA will respond to all of this and what it does mean. But I mean, Eric, you said it, essentially they can buy players.
Buy athletes. I don't like the idea of the wealthier schools will be able to provide more, and what athlete, especially at a high school, an 18-year-old is not going to go, I'm going there. And if what he said, I know he was making an exaggerated example, but he said, "We'll buy you a Corvette." Well, if you're going to that school, I mean, I can see that affecting schools' recruitment. It's almost like in the pro scene where, you know, the Yankees and the ones that make all the money get the good players. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. And a Corvette, that would.
I mean, I'm not saying
that would sway me
to it.
I'm needing a new ride.
And so what it looks like yesterday's ruling and decision is leaning towards is just because of the billions and billions of dollars that are generated by these athletes every year for these large universities. They're trying to do whatever it is and whatever can be possible to eliminate that huge gap to where the athlete isn't receiving any type of compensation. Now, this isn't the same as name, image, and likeness, because that is a whole separate topic outside of the university and students being able to, you know, attach their name to different sponsorships and do things along that line. But these are just options that the universities have to help bring in kids.
See, I agree with name, image, likeness.
Right.
I think that makes sense. I don't like it when the colleges start buying the people their attention, basically.
Well, I was going to say that the name, image, and likeness, that's something that I agree totally
Me too.
with. Like, those student athletes should be paid for the money that they make for the university, but it is interesting how they're going to define educational aid in this situation.
Could change college
Thanks for
sports.
explaining.
Yeah,
That was a great
Thank you.
explanation.
Got us all talking.
Don't thank me, thank Todd.
Keep talking on Facebook.
We're coming back.
Educated
Stay
me.
there.
Hi there. I am listening in to the NCAA ruling, listening to STEM situations. Alrighty. Thank you.
Well, it's an event that local families look forward to every year, and after last year, we could all use a good 4th of July celebration. So I spoke with Downtown Greensboro Incorporated President Zach Matheny about this year's Fun 4th Festival. Zach, I know people are just itching to get back to these big celebrations. They're breaking out all over the place, and now here comes Fun 4th. Tell me, how is this going to look this year? Is it any different than years past?
It is a slightly different this year. You know, typically we've had a longer footprint all the way from Bower Park down to the south end. This year, in the fact that we had to tighten it up and really put something together really quick, we're going to have 3 music stages. One beginning at Elm and February 1 Street, one at Hamburger Square, which is notoriously at Natty Greens, and then one stage on the south end, which will be at Elm and Lewis Street. We have some great local musicians that'll be playing, as well as some fun things in between.
So give me the rundown, like when someone brings their family out this year, is there like a better place to start and end your tour of Fun 4th, or is this kind of an all-day thing?
You know, this year, because we were able to put something together really fast, the time is from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Saturday, July 3rd. And that's important to note because, you know, typically the Fun 4th is on July 4th. This year we thought it would be better for families to come and enjoy time together on July 3rd from 3 to 8. And then at 9:15, we'll shift just a block away and we're going to have a laser light show. This year, obviously, that's different. There is a shortage on fireworks, as well as there's a shortage on folks that are able to do the fireworks, the pyrotechnics. And so this year, we have a laser light show, which will be at the corner of Davie Street and Market Street.
That's a great way to end it. I know people are so excited about this, Zach. We're just glad it's back. Thanks for your time today, man. All right, so I asked you on Facebook about your favorite part of a good old 4th of July celebration, and here's what you had to say. Pamela said, cooking out with friends and neighborhood fireworks. Patricia said one word, that would be fireworks. You'll notice a common theme here, by the way. Beth Johnson said beach music and fireworks. Robert Littleton says, I love it all, being with family and friends, good food, fireworks. Melba says, hanging out with the family and seeing, you guessed it. Sylvia said 2 words for you, Baden Lake. It's not what she does, it's where she celebrates. So pretty interesting there, but everybody loves the fireworks. So this year, they have a laser light show instead of a fireworks display. They're doing something different, and that hits shortly after. I believe it's in that 8 to 9 o'clock hour they start that this year.
Yes, 4th of July for me is about freedom, and then the plate of food that I get to celebrate that freedom, which includes a hot dog, baked beans, and macaroni salad. Not pasta salad, it's different. Macaroni salad.
I like
What about potato salad?
Love
not for me.
potato salad.
Not for me. But I can appreciate the side as a staple.
I love the fireworks. When I was a kid, we used to go to my grandparents. They live out in the country, and we would pop our own. And it was just fun to see them pop off.
That's fun. Kids love that. They love that stuff. I think you were talking about, remember those little snap and pop things that you hit the ground with?
Those terrify me.
Love those
and
things.
And sparklers terrify me.
Oh, do you
really?
don't like those?
I like the very end of it, and I'm like, I got to throw it down because it's going to burn my fingers.
Let me tell you what,
the
you
hairspray, y'all.
Oh,
Flammable.
now that's an issue.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you have to do this year is you have to come. They're having a dunking booth, and I'm in that thing at 3 p.m. on that Saturday.
Buried the lead.
You should have started with that.
Weather Day Bacon from Rock 92 will be there too, so we'll have a good time.
And is there like a pie in the face? Just the dunking booth?
As far as I know, things can change.
Keep us updated.
Coming up on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock, a Winston-Salem organization is pushing for peace as the city sees a rise in violent crimes, including the murder of a grandmother. What suggestions they have for city leaders? That's next on WFMY News 2 at 5.
The first winners. And tomorrow, North Carolina officials will draw the first winners of the vaccine lottery. Woo-hoo.
Hi there, I won the vaccine lottery. I already know, I'm just telling you now, so you can report it tomorrow.
That's it. Hi there. We're singing, George and I are singing old hip hop songs. Supersonic. Check
1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. The organization. Okay.
Yay! That's, oh, Chad. Oh, crud. I forgot this was your mic. Sorry.
And stood on the stage. Hey Callie, how's it going? Oh, I'm trying to make sure my face looks okay. Oh my gosh, you'd be hard pressed to find a school district anywhere.
It's time for my 2 cents. This one is a bit silly today, but after an 8-hour round trip in a car this weekend, I need to vent. I despise being in a car. I don't like driving one. I don't like riding in one. There is nothing about getting inside a car that I like. Now, to be clear, I appreciate the automobile, the fact that we can get from point A to point B without having to walk or bike or ride in a horse-drawn carriage. I understand how lucky we are to live in a time where we have cars that make our lives easier. I love to travel and explore new places or visit old friends, and I know cars make that possible, but that does not mean I like the act of being inside of a car. The idea of a road trip actually makes me shudder. Riding or driving for hours and hours, sitting in traffic, having to entertain myself or others for the trip. Listen, no amount of music, podcasts, or talk radio could make that better. Not to mention, I'm extremely sensitive to motion and almost always get car sick. You know, I spent a lot of time in a car growing up. My amazing parents drove me and my sister around and got us everywhere we needed to be. We ate many dinners on the road. I did my homework in the back seat. And while I recognize how much time and gas they used to make this possible, I do think it ruined car rides for me. There's not a lesson in this 2 cents. There's nothing inspirational or a topic that makes you think. It's just me telling you how much I dread getting in a car. But hey, that's my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
And we have new information this evening in the death of a grandmother in Winston-Salem.
Police say Glenda Corher's grandson, William Scott, stabbed her during a crime spree last week. They also say Scott shot and killed his own mother in her home in Clemens.